Hello everyone, welcome to the episode. I hope you're keeping well. In this week's video we're in a synagogue here in Romania and we're continuing on with my wrecking of the country. And I always get asked in my camera club talks, aren't these buildings ever graffitied, vandalised? Specimen A. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is James Kerwin and this is me. I'm an architecture and interior photographer from the UK that is now based in Istanbul. I love shooting heritage, abandoned places, relics, ruins, hidden gems and ghost towns, as well as off the beaten path locations all around the world. You can catch my content weekly, well, when life doesn't take over. So why don't you join me for the ride by subscribing, and you can also check out my website in the description below. I haven't just done synagogues on this trip. Of course, I've done some stunning ones, and why I like them is usually there's a key holder and usually they'll gain you access to them because you're showing an interest in the synagogue. This one's different. This one I've kind of like coming through the back door. Now I came to this location a long time ago. Let me explain. I went to another synagogue, I'll pop the images on the screen, all the way back in 2016 with my friend Dan. We knew about this place, we knew it existed, and at that time it wasn't so blown up on the internet. These days if you Google Romanian synagogue abandoned, it's one of the first ones, if not the first one that would come up on the internet. But basically we skipped this one off to go to a railway track, which was a kind of a dumb idea because at the time it was not so known about. The quality of it, the condition of it was way better. And although there is a couple of nice shots to grab here, you'll see in a minute, there is graffiti and vandalism already started. And that is unfortunately the decline of these kind of buildings. The mass media attention, of course, being brought on them, myself included in that, of course, has meant there has been an overall condition decline over the last few years. Or it's becoming much harder to obtain permission or get inside of these kind of structures. So it's still available, it's still sitting here, but it's in a way worse condition than it was, of course, back in 2016. And I thought I'd do it now before it gets ruined forever. In fact, as you're going to see, graffiti has already started to appear over the other side, which is a real shame. You see what I mean, right? I mean, who does this? Why would you do this? It's a beautiful synagogue. It's obviously built hundreds, if not 1,000 years ago. And you do this on the wall, which is just unbelievable actually. There was once a time when the abandoned and forgotten corners of our cities held a quiet and mysterious allure. There was a niche pursuit, a secret shared amongst a select few, a dance with a forgotten past. Urban exploration. But today, that world has changed. The decline of URBEX photography is a tale of fascination turned frenzy. It's a story of how the allure of decay became a siren's song, drawing hordes of adventurers armed with cameras to the hidden treasures of urban decay. The rise of social media and platforms like YouTube and Instagram transformed URBEX from an obscure subculture into a mainstream sensation. With the spotlight now shining brightly on these forgotten places, the once secretive locations are now exposed to the world. And as more people flock to these abandoned sites, a new wave, a new phenomenon has emerged. Graffiti covered walls, tagged with the names of countless visitors. The sense of isolation and quiet has been shattered by the sounds of voices and the clatter of footsteps. It wasn't just the beauty of decay that attracted attention. Metal thieves and vandals have seen the opportunity, turning these once sacred spaces into targets for destruction. As URBEX photographers, adventurers, enthusiasts, or simply Instagrammers, it's our responsibility to safeguard the fragile balance between preservation and exploration. Let's remember the past without erasing it. Let's explore, but with respect. The biggest threat is the sharing with anyone, sharing with anything, new or old, for the latest and greatest. The selling of locations, the throwaway nature of spots, and the general disregard. In the fading light of these forgotten places, there's a beauty that endures. Let's capture it, not just with our lenses, but with our hearts. And perhaps in time, the decline of URBEX photography will lead to a rebirth, a renaissance that brings back the secrets and the love for these forgotten places. Until then, let's tread lightly, seek our own ideas, and try to be different. There's also some severe decay coming because on the far side, part of the roof has actually collapsed, so it's not so easy to access, and I've got to be very careful. Of course, these days I'm much more careful than I used to be when I access these kind of structures. You know, I do value my life. I'm recently married and all. Going on from the last episode, shot selection. One of the main highlights here is that ceiling, the dome above. It is incredible. So I'm going to also get a photo looking up there as well. I've got to be a little bit careful underfoot, because some of this, especially over that side, is very dangerous. I'm not going to go over there. So I'm going to maintain the areas where there is concrete and I can actually walk through. Yeah, I'm going to select 17mm tilt shift I've used already. I've got it back. And then, of course, we're going to get a couple of shots with my 15 to 35 at 35mm. Just of that window over there, which looks pretty cool. You can't quite see it. Behind the organ was a great shot. You saw that in the intro, so of course I've already got that one. And I want to get one from the balcony looking this way. So the challenge this afternoon is I've only got one tripod with me. I've left the other one in the car. So that means I'm going to have to shoot video, which is kind of takes away from the object or the point of what I was explaining in the last video about my gear now being, like, you know, really easy to use. That is if you don't leave your tripod in the car. Okay, so we're on to the photographs, and the first thing we did was tiptoed across that balcony to get a shot towards this organ. Would be the kind of classic angle, and I decided to press myself hard against that stained glass window to frame things up. The jagged edge of the interior kind of like showcasing the synagogue behind. It's a shame about the yellow thing on the floor. You can't quite see it, but you can see the wooden frame. It's left behind from a walking tour. Next up, we've got the ceiling shot, so obviously down from the base of the synagogue, looking upwards with my 15 to 35. The colour here, the texture, the decay. I did two versions, wide and a punched in. Stunning, absolutely love this photograph. And then I moved on to the balcony shot, a nice simple shot, going across from one balcony to the other with my 15 to 35 once again. Framed it up nicely, nice light here. Finally, we moved on to that organ, placing my camera behind it, using my 17mm tilt shift lens. Top, middle and bottom panoramic, first of all, followed by a landscape orientation pano 2. I'll leave you with this shot now. It's probably the hidden shot of the synagogue, and a real classic one. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Some tips and tricks for you, nice quick ones, as well as some thoughts and theory behind the abandoned world and URBEX community in general. Something I've not really been heavily involved in for a few years now, but nonetheless I've still seen the decline of these style of locations. Coming up on the video soon, we've got another tutorial, full-length video next week for you from Tbilisi, Georgia, once more, all about focus. And following up on the channel, we've got much more content, so keep your eyes peeled for all of that. Yep, that's me, out this week. Until next time, bye-bye for now.